Hey there, Aries rising signs of the zodiac. How you doing? It's Cosmic Girl. We're talking astrology in this video, and we're talking about the astrology for the month of July 2025. I sincerely hope you are doing well, kicking goals, and looking forward to chilling out, sitting back and listening to the astrology for the month of July. Well, it's interesting. We have three planets going into a retrograde. And that's a bit of a shift for all of us, as above, so below. And we'll talk about what that means for your rising sign in this video, what natal houses these retrogrades are occurring in for you as an Aries rising sign. And as always, we'll open up the video talking about your chart ruler, which is Mars. So Mars is your avatar in this incarnation if you're an Aries rising sign. And then we'll get into the chronological astrology after that. So let's get cracking, Aries rising signs. So your chart ruler Mars is now positioned in your natal sixth house, being Virgo. Now, Virgo is a very different zodiac sign to the Aries zodiac sign, but they do have a secret connection. There is an astrological method and technique called Antisha and Contra Antisha. And interestingly enough, through the Antisha scheme, Aries and Virgo have this little secret relationship. So, in short, what that means is you connect well with Virgo as an Aries. Aries zodiac sign connects well with Virgo, and your chart ruler Mars for the whole month of July is transiting in Virgo, your natal sixth house. This is a really good transit for you as an Aries rising sign. The only thing I don't like about this for you is that natal sixth house is selfless service that you don't get recognition for. It's that chop wood, carry water part of the natal chart where it's so humdrum, so familiar, and it is connected to work and service and illness and injury and slavery and labor, all the fun stuff that we do selflessly and continue on our daily routines. It's not the natal part of the chart where you get a clap for doing the laundry or cleaning the toilet or cooking dinner. It's more of the service part of this is what I do every day. And that's where your chart ruler Mars is for the whole month of July for 2025. But what is beneficial if you listen to astrology and you go, okay, I'm an Aries rising, what's my chart ruler Mars up to? We think of Mars as a planet that pursues what it loves with passion. It's invigorating. Mars goes for it. Mars is strategic, intelligently moves towards what it loves. The only thing about Mars is that it leaves a lot of collateral damage behind it when it pursues what it likes. So it can be very rambunctious. You get that warlike general sensation about Mars. He's the soldier and the colonel of the army. He just does what he has to do. You know, sometimes we have to just bulldoze and blaze through. Yes, there's going to be some collateral damage, but ultimately, if we have something in our line of sight, we have to get there. And sometimes it's not pretty how we arrive at our destination. So Mars has that characteristic archetypally. And when he's in that natal sixth house of Virgo for the whole month of July, then what I'm predicting for you through the lens of astrology with this transit, Aries rising, is it's going to be a almost stern realization, a really stern, sobering realization that there are just some things that have to be left behind. Some things are dead and done in your daily environment with work, service, illness, labor, and slavery. That's the natal sixth house. And Mars just gives you, as an Aries rising sign, the tools, the intelligent tools, Virgo, on how to get out of Dodge, get out of something that is like slavery, labor, drudgery, something that you do, laundry every day, dishes every day, or walk the dog every day, or you sit down and go to work every day. Mars with this transit in natal sixth house of Virgo sort of gives you the lay of the land on what you need to cut away from your everyday, that selfless service part. And you go, oh, for fuck's sake, I don't get any recognition. This is all I do. What the hell am I doing this for? So Mars is really good for you to come to peace. Very different from Mars. Venus is the planet of peace. Mars is the planet of war. Your chart ruler, but coming to peace with cutting away things that are laborious. So if you have to turn down extra jobs, you can't walk the neighbor's dog anymore because it's cutting away valuable time that you would be best served using it and filling your own cup up and getting your own stuff done. So it's that sort of transit where it's really good to go, I'm not providing that service anymore. I'm not doing this thing that I've done all the time. So I can see for the Aries rising signs in the month of June, July into August, cutting away things that are tedious, meticulous, just too fastidious, too much. And you go, I'm done. So it's a beneficial transit all in all when your chart rulers in the natal sixth house of Virgo. We have that secret like Antisha meeting, Aries and Virgo. They do well together. And also, what's another benefit of this transit, Aries rising signs, is that through the Hellenistic planetary joy system scheme, Mars found his joy in the natal sixth house. No work, slavery, sickness, injury, labor. You think of Mars, he's got that toughness. He's that general, he's that colonel, he's the soldier that can just do what it needs to be done to get to a goal. And everything's not pretty, but Mars makes it easy to see things that are obstacles and blast through them. So, all in all, if you work and are really connected to working with planets and transits, then so if you're an Aries rising, listen to this video and you go, well, what's my chart ruler doing? You're like, how can I work with the astrology? Drop the dead wood that's weighing you down that you overcommit to. That's too fixated, Virgo, that detail oriented zodiac sign of Virgo. Pick. You're very critical. Well, what can you eliminate in your daily space that's routine for you that you just go, oh, that's enough of that. I need to pull back from that. I can't, it's wasting my time or it's just all too much. So getting rid of services, work, labor, anything that's like an illness, purifying it, cleaning it, getting rid of it, great for surgeries, great for getting into health. This would be the ideal time to step it up and look at the mundane world, which, we all want to gloss over that and we don't want to think about the dishes that we have to do at the end of the day. We want to talk about great sex and where's the next concert. But that's natal sixth house is the drudgery. So where can you eliminate something that's laborious and just go, oh, I just can't do this anymore? This is the transit to do it. So that's what your chart ruler is up to, Mars, in the month of July 2025. And it'll be next month. Mars will be ingressing into a different natal house and a different zodiac sign, and that's going to be a really interesting transit for you. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please do and hit the notification bell, and you'll know when that video is uploaded for you for the Aries rising signs August 2025 astrology video. So this is like your footnote. You keep this information in your back pocket about what your chart ruler Mars is up to in the month of July. That this is it. You could literally, if you would like, you could turn the video off now because that's what's happening for the Aries rising signs. There are going to be astrological alignments and lunations and all that good stuff. Absolutely. But primarily, astrologically speaking, if you're an Aries rising, this is what Mars is doing, helping you cut through the wheat and the chaff and the minutiae things that are just too clingy and they're too fastidious. And you go, nah, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to have that surgery. I'm going to get into the health program. I'm going to get rid of that service, that selfless work that's just going nowhere fast. I'm not seeing for it. And it can be a little bit, when you don't get praise and you don't get a thank you or recognition for a job well done, there's something in that. And I think this transit for you will help illuminate it. So that's quite positive when you start to see the forest for the trees on where you put your best foot forward. It's a sort of a redundant exercise when you start seeing it for what it is, which is, just something that may be habitual or something that you fixate on, and it's time to just let it go. Yeah, Virgo can be very clingy. It just wants to do. This transit is a great transit for you to just let go, let go and let be. Okay, so that's what's going on for you as an Aries rising sign. Now let's get into the astrology, planets and transits and illuminations for the month. Okay, so Jupiter's in Cancer, exalted. So Jupiter's a very, very happy Jupiter. This planet is very, very happy. Our largest planet in the solar system, Jupiter. And this transit for you of jolly Jupiter in Cancer is in your natal fourth house. Jupiter's exalted in Cancer, very well positioned. Um, this is a really long transit. Jupiter will be in your natal fourth house until the 30th of June 2026. So a year and change, you've got Jupiter cruising through your natal fourth house. I did a separate video for the Aries rising signs about this Jupiter in Cancer transit. You can go back onto my YouTube page and you can find it. It's not too far back. And just look for Jupiter transit Cancer for the Aries rising signs. And yeah, there's a lot of intel in there that you'll benefit from astrologically and getting a really deep, well-rounded, holistic understanding of how this transit may be playing out for you for a year and change. So just a quick recap. Yeah, Jupiter's in your natal fourth house. Happy days. Happy Jupiter in your natal fourth house. So that natal fourth house is the house of familiar. So if we think of familiar, we think it's something we always know. It's habit. The fourth house is rest, where we sleep. The fourth house is at the subterranean part of the natal chart. And when we're sleeping, people don't really watch us sleep. I mean, some do. I mean, you do you. um, where we rest, it's where we go and get respite and we recharge and get all ready for the next day. And so Jupiter's in Cancer for the whole month of July. So your home life and where you get rest and sleep, your home life should be pretty good. I don't see any red flags at all. There'll be a few aspects this month to Jupiter, not too many, but your home life and your family life should be cruisy. On paper, you're going to have your own natal planet experience with this transit. So if you, yeah, I really encourage you as an Aries rising sign, if you haven't had your own natal chart read astrologically, you'd be so glad that you did. There's a plethora of free tools on the internet. All you do is punch in your birth details and it'll all be there for you. And that's when you can utilize an astrologer, a professional that can give you the lay of the land if you struggle in understanding it. But knowing your own natal chart really does help you, especially when you're listening to videos like this about planets in transits. So your home life and your family life should be pretty cruisy for the month of July. Nice. On the 4th, Venus conjuncts Uranus, then Venus ingresses into Gemini, and then Neptune starts its retrograde in Aries at 2 degrees. So happy 4th of July to all my US listeners out there. I hope you have a wonderful day of celebration. So there's 3 things going on astrologically on the 4th of July. So we'll talk about these individually. So Venus conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Interesting. I don't think this is going to be too impactful for the Aries rising sign. It's in the natal second house. The second house is pretty familiar to us as well when we're talking about natal astrology. So this could feel like a bit of an upgrade with your tangibles. You buy a hairdryer, you get a haircut, you decide to maybe start a new relationship or maybe even walk away from one. Nothing too severe on the 4th of July with Venus conjunct Uranus for you as an Aries rising, which is good because it's that natal second house. Then Venus ingresses into your natal third house. Yeah, maybe travel, education and siblings are a little bit higgledy-piggledy. You're not really too interested, I think, in the month of July to rushing where angels fear to tread regarding committing to relationships, new courses, travel plans, or doing things with siblings. I think you're a little bit half in, half out with this transit with Venus in Gemini. So it's good for like not committing solely in anything long term. So if you get offered from the 4th of July moving forward, say hypothetically you get offered a educational um, course, or you get offered to become a teacher, for example. Um, with Venus and Gemini, I'm not sure about the total commitment. It could be a shiny ball syndrome, someone luring in you and go, oh, yeah, that looks really interesting. Um, but I don't think it'll hold your attention for very long. So it's good for short courses, short distance traveling, and having picnics or just one night gets togethers with siblings. I don't think anything committal would be worth your while here regarding siblings, travel, and education. Anything long term would just be a bit of a waste of your time. Is what I'm getting with Venus and Gemini in your natal third house. What it is good for, Venus and Gemini, is cheeky fun. So when you communicate, you got a little bit of sass about you. So like sassy back and forward conversations, clever dick conversations, like clever use of words. So that can be kind of fun in a social setting. So yeah. Nothing too severe there either. I think it's pretty good for you, Venus and Gemini. Just yeah, I wouldn't overcommit to anything. I think it'll be a fly by night thing, like a phase regarding anything long term with travel, education, or with siblings. Okay, and then Neptune going into a retrograde in your natal first house at 2 degrees. Not too concerned about this astrologically. I don't think anything profound's going to happen with this retrograde for you as an Aries rising sign. Neptune's an outer planet. It's a generational planet. It's only been in your first house since the 30th of March. Moves so slow for any astrological significance for me to even reference to. Um, it's almost not newsworthy. Neptune going into a retrograde into your natal first house, retrograding at 2 degrees. Yeah, not too concerned about that. Anything retrograde planets do, apart from what you hear, oh my God, everything's going to fall to pieces. No, it doesn't. Uh, in Neptune retrogrades or any planets when they retrograde, they sort of double down and give you actual results. You can actually see what you've been engaged with. So Neptune retrograde. So Neptune's an outer planet. It's a generational planet. So you think it's been in your first house area sizing of your body, your identity, who you are, health, body, things that you want to start and begin. And Neptune's the big visionary. So maybe things that you are ready to engage with or sort of starting to put some pieces together when Neptune, goes retrograde at 2 degrees of Aries, and you just go, yeah, okay, I feel good about that. Or, let's see if that's actually going to stick or not. Simple as. It's really not newsworthy for the Aries rising sign with Neptune going retrograde in your first house at 2 degrees. Yeah, not too much. Not yet. I'm pretty certain about that. Nothing for you to worry about. Just know that Neptune's going into a retrograde in your first house at 2 degrees on the 4th of July. 7th of July is the day to plan an outing, a social event, or start something new. The astrology is really good for things to flow with Venus sextiling Saturn and retrograde Neptune in Aries, and Venus also trining retrograde Pluto in Aquarius. The 7th of July is the day to enjoy life, enjoy something in your community, hang out with friends, go to a social event. Really nice day on the 7th of July with these connections with with Venus, sextiles and trines indicates easy flowy days. So plan something nice on the 7th of July. You'll be glad that you did. And the standout of the 7th of July is Uranus ingressing into Gemini, your natal third house. It's been 84 years since Uranus has been in Gemini. So, yeah, astrologically, this is a big deal, guys. Okay, so I'm not going to exhaust this. Uranus is going to be retrograding back into Taurus. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for future videos about Uranus in Gemini, Saturn in Aries, and Neptune in Aries. Because these guys aren't really firmly planting in these zodiac signs until 2026. So I'm not really going to harbor on it and linger around on it too much because they're going to be retrograding back and forward. But well, yeah, it's newsworthy. This is newsworthy. Uranus ingressing into Gemini, your natal third house. Well, the third house is siblings, travel, and education. Okay, things that they're local, they're familiar to us. So, what I'm getting for the Aries rising signs is Uranus really gets you motoring. Uranus is the moving planet that is shockingly acute, like acute, swift moves and changes. Um, Uranus is the awakener. I am going to use the slapped face by a fish metaphor, which I did last month in the astrology. I was laughing so hard. So think of Uranus as someone standing across from you. For whatever reason, they're in front of you and they've got a fish and they slap you fair in the face with the fish, and you're like, "What the hell? That is so weird, out of the blue. I didn't. What the hell? That is off. That is irritating. That really is shocking." Okay, number one, it's a smelly fish. Number two, you don't get slapped in the face every day. But that's what Uranus is like. Boom. And you're like, what? That's Uranus. And Uranus, for good or bad, being slapped in the face by a fish, it shocks you into awareness. It wakes you up. And when we're, you know, trudging through this life and we're cruising and we're doing what we need to do, Uranus, through the system of astrology, an archetypal meaning of Uranus, is the awakener where you've been sleepwalking, okay, Aries rising in your third house for a while, like 84 years. So something needs to shift and change here with siblings, travel, and education. So I like this transit of you. I promise I won't harp on this too long. But I like this transit for Uranus in your natal third house because the third house is familiar to us. It sextiles the first house natally. Okay, so it's almost it's like that natal sixth house. It's the day to day. It's familiar. It's not too far a reach. The third house from the Aries rising house of the first house. So if you think of your siblings, travel and education, like you've got a certain level of education, you've done a certain amount of travel or with a vehicle, and with siblings. Siblings are, they don't really change a lot. But then Uranus comes in and shakes that natal third house up. Okay. Like slaps you in the face with the fish and goes, you cannot travel like that anymore. Short distance traveling. I need you to travel further. Uranus is an outer planet. So with this transit, Aries risings may be invited to get out of a familiar environment and travel more. Like your normal environment, your local neighborhood really isn't cutting it anymore. And Uranus goes, boom, slap you in the face with a fish. No shit. You got to get out of here. You've got to grow and expand. Liberate yourself. I'm awakening you to freedom. So that's how I see this transit playing out. And anything with siblings, so the dichotomy and the social bind of siblings, what siblings are, can be changing with Uranus in your natal third house of siblings. So, we know siblings are of blood, but you can have a twin or a sibling through a friend, a neighborhood, or a pen pal, someone that lives in, I don't know, Istanbul, whatever. But the dynamic of siblings will be changing with Uranus transiting in that natal third house, where there's a lot of liberation and freedom and moving towards a new future. So I think for some family and children, siblings, that topic and subject will be going through a serious upgrade and change, which I think is awesome. It's Uranus. It's like, yeah, let's go into the new frontier, take us into a new stratosphere. That's Uranus, an outer planet, generational planet. Education. Okay, so education. Uh, the third house is education that is more elementary than universities. And so that third house, where Uranus is going to be transiting through, um, we'll think of education where it's kept small. It's sort of basic, elementary um, education. And if Uranus is here trying to wake something up about that, then maybe Aries risings need to step up their educational level or get out, get out of the small stuff, things that are elementary and infantile and young. Maybe you're trying to break out of that, and Uranus comes in and slaps you in the face and goes, look, this is so infantile and childish and naive. It's very, young. You need to really turn up the dial when it comes to the potential for you to really tune into a new educational level regarding teaching or learning. So that's how I see this transit playing out for the Aries rising signs. With Uranus in your natal third house of Gemini. Should be a good one. Should be a good one for your Aries rising signs. Okay, just another quick thing about the Uranus transit in your natal third house of Gemini, Aries rising. New cars, like future cars, upgrading your actual vehicle and travel, like long distance travel is going to be part of that transit for you as well. Okay. Excuse me. All right. On the 10th, we've got our first lumination of the month. It's a full moon in Capricorn. It's at 18 degrees. So check your natal chart, Aries rising signs. If you've got any planets, natal planets, or a progression solar return chart, check out 18 degrees in your 10th house of Capricorn, because that's where this first lunation of July is occurring. Wow, this is good. Why I think this is good for you, because the ruler of Capricorn, so we look at the dispositor, which is Saturn. Saturn is the dispositor of the zodiac sign of Capricorn, and it's in your first house of self, identity, body, health. I like it. I like it because the dispositor being there in that first house, there should be quite the full moon. It packs a punch. I would like to look at this lunation for you, Aries rising, as how do you identify with your work and your public image and public name? What is it about where you put the hard yards in with your professional arena and your worldly achievements? What is it about that natal 10th house that drives you? Saturn, the determination, the grit, the effort. What is it about that full moon in your natal 10th house of pursuing something where you put your stamp on the world, you claiming your stake in the dirt? This is where I belong. What is it about that Aries rising for you that strongly is that driving force that keeps you engaged and keeps you going? How is it responding in kind to your body physically? It's the first house where the dispositor Saturn is the ruler of this full moon. So this would be a really good time of the month to commit to a career path, something that you identify with regarding something official in your life. So this is good for upgrading your career, upgrade your website, put your name on the market and promote yourself. Can be fantastic for a career achievement. You get public recognition in whatever field professionally that you are engaged with. You finally get that clap. Well done, Aries rising. We see you, we recognize you. And that can be quite a moment for you on the 10th of July when you get that that stamp of approval from the public, and they go, we like your work, and it shifts and changes your identity, and it can improve your sense of, wow, I can really start to see the results of my hard yards. So the lunation on the 10th of July is the moment, I would say, this would be the moment where you actually get some recognition for a job well done. And also a moment where you can really almost question yourself, like what emotionally ticks your boxes, how do you identify with your work, and what is it about it that really gets you going, keeps you engaged. It's a really nice full moon. Enjoy it. Moving on to the 13th, so Saturn, the ruler of that full moon, only 3 days later goes into a retrograde into your first house, just like Neptune did earlier in the month. So now you've got these two planets retrograding in your natal first house. And I don't see this as a big deal either, really, astrologically, not really noteworthy, major thing. Saturn hasn't been in Aries for, that long, and it's only got to 1 degrees where it's retrograding. Okay, so yeah, going back and seeing the results of what you've been engaged with, like how are you tracking? Just simple astrological information. Planets in retrograde give you a moment to digest and see where you've been putting your effort, how that's playing out for you. So yeah, that's all that's happening there. Saturn retrograding in first house. We also have retrograde Saturn and retrograde Neptune in your first house, sextiling retrograde Pluto in Aquarius. Uranus in Gemini is trining retrograde Pluto in Aquarius, and Uranus in Gemini is sextiling retrograde Saturn and retrograde Neptune in Aries. So, all in all, what does this mean? So you've got these outer planets all connecting. The outer planets, transpersonal planets, generational planets, are Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. And they're all hooking up in trines and sextiles. Saturn is more a traditional planet, but he's in the mix. So from your 11th house to your first house to your third house, so this eastern quadrant of your natal chart, Aries rising sign, there's connection going on. So there's big shifts and changes with your identity, who you are, how you play a role in society, how you're going to move that out into the world, in the community. What is it about what you do on a daily that inspires you, and where do you want to go from here? So you've got like a lily pad that you can launch from. So the 13th of July is a day of contemplation with these planets all speaking in harmony, sextiles and trines. Enjoy it for quietly sitting back and enjoying, what you've done to date. Instead of keep going, how about you sit back and just have a look and reward yourself and go, geez, I've done a lot. The 13th of July is one of those days where you can go, shit, yeah, I'm doing all right. If I want to change anything, if I'm not feeling completely in flow and I can do better, then you can sit down and put some pen to paper and navel gaze and think about your future. Really nice day on the 13th of July. On the 18th of July, Mercury starts its retrograde in Leo, your natal fifth house, and will go direct next month on August 11. Okay. Mercury retrogrades. This is his second retrograde of the year. Mercury, when Mercury, our personal planet, goes into a retrograde, because it's such a personal planet to us, it's closer to us. Things intensify where we start to really communicate about things that are near and dear to our heart from the 18th of July till August 11, where we're really communicating quite well about the natal fifth house topics. We're going when Mercury retrogrades back over the degrees that it's already been through in your natal fifth house, then we can communicate and talk about what we've been engaged with in that time. So what can be happening here for the Aries rising signs is that children are going through big changes regarding finance, travel, and moving around. If children are applicable to you, there's also seeing the results of a romantic partnership, how things are coming together, where you've been putting your best foot forward in enjoying romance, sex, and dating. And how's that working out for you? So, Mercury retrograde gives you the lay of the land on, this is what you've been enjoying. So, how's it working out for you? That's all the retrograde Mercury is bringing to us when it's retrograde, seeing the fruits of the labor of where we put our energy and direction in our heart's desire in the natal fifth house of Leo regarding children, sex, intimacy, pregnancy, and artistic endeavors. So it's quite nice when we get to take a back seat, take a deep breath, and look at our progress today and things that we really do love and hold near and dear to our heart. And we get to take a beat and enjoy it with Mercury retrograde here from the 18th of July till August 11. And when Mercury does station to go into a retrograde on the 18th, he's sextiling Venus, our other personal planet, which is great. So this really does indicate on the 18th that there's nice flow for communication and travel with things that we love that we can bring closer to us. So planning an outing, a social event, planning a trip would be a great day to do so on the 18th of July when Mercury sextiles Venus. On the 22nd of July, the Sun sextiles Uranus. I like this. This is good. This is an astrological connection that is fairly new because Uranus hasn't been in your natal third house of Gemini for 84 years, and the Sun in your natal fifth house of joy and pleasure is connecting to Uranus, the planet of surprise, in your natal third house of travel, education, and children. I like this day on the 22nd of July for pens down, tools down day. I'm not working, I'm taking a day trip. I'm not working, I'm going to hang with my siblings. I'm not going to be doing anything regarding mental work. I'm just going to enjoy my day. So the 22nd of July would be tools down day. Do something really fun that gets you out of your little rabbit hole. I like that day for doing something spontaneous when the sun connects nicely with Uranus. Okay, the sun is ingressing into Leo on the 22nd of July to August 22nd in your natal fifth house of fun. Yay. And the sun is in domicile in Leo, so we've got a well-positioned sun, very happy sun. And I like this because when the sun steps into the natal fifth house, things that you do hold near and dear to your heart, Leo, get an upgrade. Anything artistic that you inject a lot of time and energy towards gets an upgrade. Children get an upgrade. Sex, serious upgrade. Intimate relationships, serious upgrade. Pregnancy, serious upgrade. Anything that gets our adrenaline pumping, serious upgrade. You get the picture. This is all about what ticks your box, Aries rising sign. The sun is here for 4 weeks going, yeah, you love it. Well, let's get cracking. Let's do it. Not forgetting, Aries rising, that your chart ruler Mars is in that natal sixth house of Virgo, asking you to cut away things that aren't exciting, that drag your chain. And now the sun from the 22nd of July is saying, hey, don't forget to have fun. This is the part of the transit, I think, in the part of the month where you can start to see, yeah, what's really anchoring me from, enjoying and engaging with things that are near and dear to my heart. I think from the 22nd of July to the 5th of August, 6th of August, excuse me, will be the eye opener where you really might start considering, I can't keep doing the drudgery. I really need to get out and enjoy life more, hang with my kids, go on dates, enjoy sex, enjoy my arty side of my life, just have a lot more fun. So from the 22nd of July, the sun in domicile in your natal fifth house of Leo, get on your soapbox, stand out from a crowd, go to a concert, have sex, get reckless, have fun, do it with pride, Let your freak flag fly. This is the transit to do it for 4 weeks. And I think children are going to get a serious boost. If your children are applicable to you, expect children to have some major wins with this transit too. Yay! The 24th of July, really interesting day. It's actually my best friend's birthday on the 24th of July. It's okay. I'll let her know. All right. So let's talk about the astrology for the 24th of July. The Sun is trining retrograde Saturn and retrograde Neptune. What does this mean for Aries rising signs? Not a big deal. I just think this is a day of tools down again, just enjoying life on the 24th when the Sun in your natal fifth trines retrograde Saturn and Neptune. Just enjoying your day, not working hard on the 24th. The Sun then opposes retrograde Pluto. Yeah, this is basically just cutting away from social commitments because you're having too much fun when the Sun's trying to retrograde Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Venus is squaring your chart ruler Mars. Yeah, this is again just heralds tools down. We're not getting busy. We're not out and about. We're just doing what we love. The Sun trining retrograde Saturn and Neptune in Aries in the first house. And then we have a new moon in Leo, 2 degrees in your natal fifth house. So a new beginning. New beginning and what gets your adrenaline pumping, Aries rising. So this could be a new project, creative project. Could also be planning a trip, planning a trip, or planning to go to see an event or a concert, something like that on the 24th. Could also be a new pregnancy for someone in your life, or a child could announce a pregnancy with a new moon in Leo in your house of children. And a new relationship can basically go in a new direction. So a new romantic, like if you're in a romantic connection, which I really sincerely hope you are, Aries rising signs. Of course, that's not going to be for every Aries risings, but it's nice to have love. But yeah, I know we get love from other places. I know. But if you're in a romantic connection, then this can be planning for a new child, planning to go to an event, planning to do something exuberant, like go to the casino for the night together. Really nice new moon in your natal fifth house of joy and fun. So, what emotionally is making you feel that you need to upgrade the daily with just enjoying life instead of working so bloody much with your natal Mars in the sixth house of work? This might be the day on the 24th when you go, yeah, tools down, I need to do something different. I need to let my freak flag fly creatively and get out and enjoy the world. Really nice on the 24th of July. Okay, Aries rising. Come July 30, if you didn't commit to anything with travel, siblings, or education too much, you'll be so glad that you did, because Venus is leaving that natal third house of Gemini and ingressing into your natal fourth house of Cancer to the 25th of August, joining Jupiter. We have the two benefics in your natal fourth house. If you overcommitted, you're probably going to really feel it, because with Venus slothing in the house of privacy and home and chilling out, resting, the natal fourth house of rest and where we go and chill, you might be a bit irritated that you bit off more than you can chew or overcommitted. But alas, so be it if you did. But if you didn't, you'll benefit from this transit a little bit more than other Aries rising signs that didn't take my advice. Venus in the fourth house is just, let's get some new bedding, let's redecorate, let's purchase a new lamp, let's get some cookware in, let's enjoy life behind closed door. Fantastic for building routine in the family home. Intimacy in the bedroom can seriously get an upgrade, especially with Jupiter here. Two benefics in your fourth house from the 30th of July to the 25th of August. Working with the transits again, Aries rising. If you listen to astrology and you're thinking, how do I work with the transits? Well, from the 30th of July to the 25th of August, don't plan anything big. Plan to chill out at home, do renovations, upgrade the home environment, sleep more, enjoy sex more, enjoy cooking at home more. Enjoy your home environment. Beautiful transit for just going, oh, I just love my sheets. I just love home cooking. I love having sex every day and chilling out in the bedroom. It's that kind of transit. Enjoy it. When Venus ingresses into Cancer, your natal fourth house, from the 30th of July to the 25th of August. Happy days. On the 31st, the very last day of the month, July 31st, we have the Sun conjunct retrograde Neptune in Leo in your natal fifth house. Big day. Big day. It's an inferior conjunction. I'm not going to get all techie and why, but now the sun is well positioned. It's in domicile in Leo. It's a strong sun. Okay, we know this fifth house. We've talked about it enough in this video to know what the fifth house is. It's what gives us joy and pleasure, right? Ultimately. And when it conjuncts retrograde Mercury, this is fantastic for financial opportunity with children, a romantic partner, a creative project, finding out that you're pregnant. Eyes and ears peeled on the 31st of July for opportunity for your heart to race and optimism to be the medicine of the day on the 31st of July. Enjoy it when the sun conjuncts retrograde Mercury. Really good day to go to the casino or buy a lotto ticket, Aries rising signs. That is your astrology for the month of July. I trust you have a wonderful one. If you have any astrological inquiries, I can be contacted at cosmicgirl101@protonmail.com. Till next time, Aries risings, stay cosmic.